The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Media Mash,
A roundtable of Cowboys insiders
dropping wisdom
and offering sizzling takes
on the current state of your Dallas Cowboys.
Now, your host,
Newy Scruggs.
Media Match time, a whole lot of stuff going on. Since Sunday night when the Philadelphia Eagles destroyed the Kansas City Chiefs in New Orleans. All right, round table. Let's begin with the national champion. He is the Ohio State alum, Jean-Jacques Taylor. Joe Hoyt, Ball City, Dallas. Clarence Hill, my dog team, make sci-fi legend in the house. I am merely Newy Scruggs here to facilitate the conversation. So.
How did it go last week? I missed it last week. Did y'all do a show last week?
Yes.
How did it go?
It was good. You were missed.
I know.
Ed stepped in your spot.
Ed was here?
Ed stepped in your spot.
Ed took your role as instigator.
Agitator.
Agitator.
There you go.
He's not quite as good as the villain role, but he tried.
Look, Ed did his Black History Month invitation for you.
Wow.
Rose up, but chill.
There you go.
That.
There you
Did
go.
that.
Hey, that's all right.
I'll ask around the table. Start with you, Clarence. The Eagles winning, does that really matter to Jerry at all for the second time here in the last few seasons that they've won the Super Bowl?
Do you like those 3 Super Bowl rings? Did you like them? Do you like them very much?
They still got one less than me.
Does it or should it? I guess if you said does it, I'm going to answer should it, because I don't think it bothers Jerry because he's continuing to win at the box office and continue to win in all the other areas. But to me, the Eagles winning in this whole season has been a referendum on how the Cowboys have done business. Over the last few years, it's their third Super Bowl in the last 7 years.
Yeah, 8.
Certainly, the Cowboys, after losing to Green Bay, not necessarily going all in, and Jerry would tell you we are committed as everyone is committed can be because we paid Dak at the top of the market, we paid CD at the top of the market. That's different than going all in and adding pieces to improve your team. And so it's a semantics thing. But you look at the Eagles, and they paid their quarterback at the top of the market. They paid the 2 receivers at the top of the market, paid 3 or 4 offensive linemen. Certainly they have drafted well. If you look at the guys in that defense, it's filled with draft picks. But they've also added players and free agents. They had 8 starters in the Super Bowl who were not drafted by the Eagles. 8 starters. Cowboys had 3 starters out of 22 who were not drafted. And that just tells you have to be able to supplement what you do in the draft with adding pieces in free agency, which the Cowboys have not done since Brandon Carr. Really have not committed to free agency. And you talk about, they've done some piecemeal things with Brandon Carr, but no, the Eagles paid big money for Bryce Huff in free agency last year. It was a horrible miss. He was inactive for the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't blink.
And they're going to sign somebody this year.
Yeah, but I'm saying that they also signed other guys, though. They don't let one miss, shake them, say, we can't do this anymore,
And Brandon Carr wasn't even no miss. He was just a good player.
Yeah, but they don't let that shake them in their boots and make them afraid. So you have to, if you're going all in this 30 years, we got to quit talking about balancing the budget and pie, and there's so much pie and doomsday. Cowboy fans are tired. It's time to win. Do what it takes to win. You have a small window with Dak in a 4-year deal. You have a CD in a 4-year deal. We've been talking about this window. The window is now. This is it, okay? 4 years with your quarterback, and you're really starting over.
Joe, should it matter to Jerry Jones that the Eagles have won the Super Bowl again?
Yeah, no doubt it should. And I think we talked with Howie Roseman first night of Super Bowl week, and one thing he says, I don't make doomsday plans.
Yeah.
I don't fear the Reaper, because one thing that's been talked about here is, hey, eventually the Eagles have to pay the piper, right? Well, if you're going to pay the piper and you have 2 rings on your fingers, I don't know if it really matters, because they keep making plays outside of the draft, to your point. You kind of look at some of those defensive linemen, because I think that was kind of the story of the game, was how good that defensive line got after Patrick Mahomes without blitzing. You're looking at Milton Williams, who was not a first-round pick. You're looking at Jalen Hunt, not a first-round pick. Josh Sweat was a 4th-round pick that was drafted, kind of took a while, and now developed. He's about to get paid. I think if the Cowboys are going to try to emulate the Eagles, you're going to have to do some things beyond the draft. And I think other teams are noticing too. Joe Burrow even said today, like, hey, the Eagles seemingly are paying everyone. Why can't we do that? He was talking to his ownership, and we know why, but that's what he's saying is I'm getting frustrated by the fact that we're not making moves like the Eagles. If the Cowboys want to play on the same level as the Eagles, they got to make moves like the Eagles.
He should be upset, but he's not. I mean, I don't think because there's no ramifications. People when there are ramifications, you feel urgency. When there's no ramifications, you can talk about urgency, but you don't really feel it because what's going to happen? Nothing. What's going to change? Really, literally, nothing. Stadium going to be full. My pocket's going to be full. I'm going to talk about how we trying to win the Super Bowl, but ultimately there's no ramifications if we don't. So, yeah, I wish the Eagles, somebody other than the Eagles had won, but they won. So, on to this year where – my quarterback is talking about, we close to winning the Super Bowl.
Speaking of the quarterback, and I go over
didn't they get beat like 80-10 last year in 2 games?
75-13.
Okay. What are we talking about?
So
don't tell me that Dak didn't play because some other 20 guys played and still got dug up.
On your Twitter page, which is one of the more entertaining pages in all of sports entertainment, so please make sure you check in on Clarence's page. Somebody said to you, since Jalen won the Super Bowl, they said he was a better quarterback, and you said he's not. Jalen Hurts is not a better quarterback than Dak Prescott.
I didn't stutter. I mean, certainly QB wins is not a quarterback stat, right? I mean, are we at that point where we say that because you win a Super Bowl, it'll make you a better quarterback? Can we be mature enough to say that?
Because Trent Dilfer wasn't no great
quarterback. Right, all of that. He won
Manning got 2 of them. Damn sure.
And the thing about the Dak hate is that, there are people, he's trash, he's this, he's that, the man was the MVP runner-up just a year ago.
Jalen Hurts was an MVP runner-up.
I'm just talking about this year ago. I'm talking about Dak. I'm going to focus on Dak. Well, we can put their careers together. We can put the numbers together. Dak has been a better quarterback. Jalen Hurts has better people around him. There's no question about that. They're not saying, like Jerry, because you make this much money, you got to do more with less. No, they're giving him more. They're giving him 2 first-round receivers. They give him a running back that's had the best season. They give him the best offensive line in football. They give him the number 1 defense. So, I mean, if you want to just talk football, what Dak does as a quarterback is better. He's a better quarterback. His numbers are better throughout his career. It's not a one-year thing. Everybody certainly when Jalen Hurts had that phenomenal year when he led him to the Super Bowl, that's 1 year. Let's put it all together. Let's put their whole careers together and see who has the better numbers. It's Dak Prescott. Yes, Jalen Hurts has been better in the playoffs. His team has gone further in the playoffs. That does not make him a better quarterback, And to your point earlier when you were talking about Dak's delusion, because Dak talked about being close.
They're not close.
It's a perception, okay? It's a perception. When you have won 2 division titles in the last 4 years, however long they win, when you have consistently beat that team, just like the Cowboys beat Washington this year, just like they got boat raced by the Eagles, they beat Washington this year with the backup quarterback, okay? Those 22 without Dak.
Yeah.
They don't feel that they're further away from Washington, Philadelphia, even though those 2 teams were in the championship. Whether it's real or imagined, they don't feel.
I'm just telling you when have you ever seen a team in your 26 years say, we're not close?
No. My point is, though, it's not just we're not close, is that I know these guys. I played these guys. Yes, this year they weren't close, but the last 4 or 5 years, it's pretty much the same teams. They know Dak was 9-4 against the Eagles in his career. Mm-hmm. They have success. Now, again, that's them on the inside. On the outside, we see how they built this team. This Eagles team this year is different than those teams, but internally, you're going to feel you're close. You're going to feel that you can compete with those teams because you have competed with those teams.
All right, so let me push back a little bit here, just for the exercise of pushing back, okay? Remember last week, you and I were talking about the general managers, and Ed said that Jerry moved up the general manager rankings after Nico's trade. and
DFW.
Yeah,
right.
Not in the NFL.
Nope.
Correct.
Okay. Not wrong.
Yes.
DFW rankings.
And then we said, we were talking about who was the best GM. And Jock said it was Jim Neal of the Stars. And I said, nah, it's Chris Young. I said, Chris Young got a championship.
Yeah.
And then you talked about the consistency of Jim Neal and basically what he's done.
Right.
I wonder if that's the same thing right here, that you're talking about Dak and his consistency in a Jim Neal type of way, and Jalen Hurts and the person who hit you up on social media saying, wait a minute, this man just won something. That puts him above. That's kind of what.
I mean, listen.
Would that be close? to what
We're arguing. I'm arguing against Cloud because most people are going to say he won a Super Bowl. Look at the playoff success. In the story.
You can also say that what was the whole game plan
Stopping Barkley
for
Kansas City defense.
Make Jalen Hurts beat us.
Right.
Yeah.
And why do you say that? Because you don't think he can.
That's the Bill Belichick rule.
Right.
Yeah.
Which means you
your
don't
best
think
your best player's not going to beat me.
Now, are they going to say that about other quarterbacks? No, because they respect them at a higher level.
I would definitely say if you're playing Jalen Hurts, if you're playing Jared Goff, if you're playing Dak, there's going to usually be, hey, let's make that player beat us. That's.
So, I mean,
Okay.
Jalen Hurts is cool. Jalen Hurts plays good in big games.
Yeah.
He does. And the one question, though, about Dak Prescott is how well could he play in the big games going further down the road? And you don't ask that question about Jalen Hurts anymore.
And isn't that the name of the game?
It is, but
Winning championships and playing big in big games. And Lord knows all of us have read the Dak comments when we've put stuff out where people have said, let him win a big game.
right.
Let him win a big game.
But see, we always move the goalposts, whatever you call it, with a big game. It's not a big game. It's only a big game when you lose. It's not a big game. Beating Tampa Bay in the playoffs, having the damn near perfect quarterback rating was not a big game.
Yeah.
Beating Seattle in the playoffs here wasn't a big game. Going toe-to-toe against Aaron Rodgers as a rookie and losing because your defense gave up a 3rd and 30 is not a big game. Okay, it's only when it loses it's a big game. So I mean that's semantics. It's just like for years there were people in San Francisco saying the 49ers quarterback was better than Dak. No, he was. He had a better team around him.
Yeah.
They never didn't ask him to win games. The Cowboys were asking Dak. They have to win games through Dak. It's two totally different things. But again, until Dak wins, it's a losing argument, on this side because people are only going to look at the end result. And for the Cowboys, the only result that matters is playoff success at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think for the first time in their two careers, Jalen Hurts has something over Dak Prescott now.
No doubt. I mean, yeah, he can have
for the first time when he went to the Super Bowl. He had.
Yeah,
That's fair.
he's been having that.
But even there was questions of like, okay, you still haven't won it though.
No,
And
but he
you
got-
might-
but he got
getting
there.
there.
Dak hadn't gotten there. Dak hadn't gotten to the NFC Championship
But I think
game.
getting over the ultimate hump it gives you
And he-
answers.
and again with
Played
the
well in the Super Bowl.
yeah, he played well. Yeah, but again, the Eagles. That's just a complete team, man.
no doubt.
I go back. Dak gets his butt kicked for bad playoff performances, but you look at who else has played well in those games. You go back to San Francisco, the 2 interceptions when Tony Pollard got hurt. Michael Parsons didn't have a sack. Zeke's playing fullback.
Yeah.
Trevon Diggs turned down a tackle and dropped the pick. I mean, you need your player. I mean, you got to have your guys show up. Eagles have guys show up, and it wasn't just like the Super Bowl. It wasn't a Jalen Carter. It was a Milton Williams.
I know.
Mr. Jalen,
Well, what did AJ Brown tell me on Monday?
Yeah.
Howie Roseman is the real reason why we're here and why we're going to win. And guess what? That held true.
Kellen Moore, now named the New Orleans Saints head coach. Is there any regret for this? In a sense, we know Jerry in the past has regretted Sean Payton getting out of the door. In your opinion, Jean-Jacques Taylor?
It can't be any regret because all you had to do was wait another week.
Yeah.
Can't be any regret. I mean, you had your 27-minute conversation with him if you wanted him. They didn't know Kellen. They just didn't want Kellen. Now we'll see if Kellen can do all the things a head coach can do.
Joe?
Yeah, I don't think anything should change just because Kellen Moore is now a Super Bowl champion, frankly. I think they had their opportunity. They've had multiple opportunities in order to keep him. They decided him and Mike weren't going to work. They split ways there. They said, hey, you know what? We're going to talk to you for a cup of tea and see how the family's doing and do it virtually and say, you know what? Never mind. We're going to go with Brian Schottenheimer after that. I think there should be no regrets. It was a decision they made long before he became a Super Bowl champion.
The regret will come, in the coming years if there's going to be any regret. But the bottom line is this. And I tweeted as soon as he got the head coaching job, I said that, and I said it before, when they were making Schottenheimer, you can sell. If you're going to sell anything, and that's the problem with the coaching hire, because it's hard to sell a Schottenheimer, okay? I'm sorry. It's been a ho-hum hire. Listen, like the guy, love the guy, his career arc, but but you can sell Kellen Moore, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl getting to, and now Super Bowl champion offensive coordinator to the fan base if you're trying to sell something different. Because right now, what are we selling going into next season? Hope based on what? What's the foundation of hope?
The assistant coach hires.
That's not foundation.
Jerry told me it was his 2 decades.
Again.
And he said he's had his nose bloody.
Yeah, because his failures. You're selling his failures, okay?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. You're selling his struggles.
Hope, Jerry.
It's
You're
relatable.
selling- that's not hope.
It's relatable.
You're
hope
selling
that
his
he's
struggles.
learned
But what
from
I'm
his
saying
failures.
is
Would've been a foxhole, somebody
something
knows
tangible you could have sold was, hey, we got a struggles of Kellen Moore getting kicked out of here, having struggles going to us and winning the Super Bowl. And really bringing some of that to us, that's something you could sell.
You don't want the Tex Cobb story for Brian Schottenheimer?
I don't care about selling. I just want a good coach.
Again, yeah, but we don't know. You don't know. I'm just talking about from what we know now.
You think? I mean,
No,
if you're the Cowboys, you think he is.
I mean,
same way they
thought
think
they thought
close?
Dave Campo was good. Okay.
Oh, now see how you turn that?
No,
I
I'm
tell
just
you-
saying.
I tell you that you're drunk for saying they're close, and then you tell me
I
it's
just
good.
say,
Then you come
what
right back
said,
in
they
and say, how can they know?
They think, what I'm saying is you don't know, and we don't know if Ben Johnson's gonna be good. But my point is, at this point, you're just trying to sell something. To me, you're trying to sell something. You need to be trying to sell something to your fan base.
You're trying to.
Why this is going to be different? When you got rid of Mike, you really wanted to keep Mike, but you didn't keep Mike because you couldn't get on the same page on years. Okay, and so you fell back into to Schottenheimer. What are you selling that's going to be different other than?
They told you he was selling. His daddy was almost a champion.
So let us.
I love his
take
daddy.
a break. Let's leave it there.
Was he really a legend?
Yes.
Yes, he won
Yes.
200 games in this league. Marty Schottenheimer was
Never won a title.
He never won a title.
That's
Don
because
Coryell.
Elway kept him from winning titles.
Don Coryell was Super Bowl.
I'm just asking.
Ernest Biner with a fumble. I mean, so Marty shot 14-1. Unfortunately, couldn't finish. But as a coach, I mean, the year he went 8-8 in Washington in only 1 year. Marty, good coach. Good
Okay,
coach.
I did make a show now.
He asked if he was a legend, though.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Which is going to put him in the legendary category.
Is he in the Hall of Fame?
He's not in the Hall of Fame. He'll get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's not.
Is it with no titles?
Yes.
How many coaches in the Hall of Fame with no titles?
He'll get in the Hall of Fame.
How many coaches in the Hall of Fame with no titles?
I think George Allen is one.
He's got one.
But he helped create the league, didn't he? Did he help create it?
No, he just had the over the hill game.
Did he have to create? Wasn't he part of AFC? Where he come
He
from?
was
No,
getting his
he
butt kicked by Landry.
Right.
That
He was with the
I'm
Rams.
just asking, but he had a whole lot to do with
I
it.
think Coryell might.
But he got to the Super Bowl. George Allen got to the Super Bowl.
With the Dolphins.
got
Eric
me.
Coryell got a whole offensive system name.
Yeah, but he had a system. Yeah, the Coryell
He's just
system.
ass. I just gave him that name.
Marty Ball's a thing. Marty Ball's a thing.
Stop it, man.
We're going to take a break. When
like
we come
Trust
back,
Ball.
let us talk about Brian Schottenheimer's coaching staff. And so far, the fan base is like, okay. Let's dive into that next. Clarence Hill, Joe Hoyt, Jean-Jacques Taylor, Newy Scruggs. This is the Media Mash on DallasCowboys.com.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Up next, waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof bags. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like Mama's recipes. Take your steak, cornbread, cobbler's pot pie, and potatoes next level with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy classic wings, sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
This is Nate Newton from Hanging with the Boys, and Wingstop is here to bring the flavor to game day as the official wings of the Dallas Cowboys. Order now by downloading the Wingstop app or ordering online at wingstop.com.
Hey, Cowboys fans, a 2024 football season is here, and SeatGeek is here to help you experience all the action. SeatGeek makes it easy to find tickets so you can be a part of all the touchdown celebrations this season. Whether you're buying or selling tickets to Cowboys football games or to any other live event, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official primary ticketing partner of the Dallas Cowboys. The most disruptive idea in ticketing? A ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek.
How about them Cowboys? Or how about them Tyson Cowboys Nuggets? As we cheer for the stars on the field, we love that we've also got some stars on our plate, thanks to Tyson brand star-shaped Cowboys Nuggets. They sure make game day special, and for every purchase of the new Tyson Cowboys Nuggets this holiday season, Tyson Foods will donate $1 to the Salvation Army up to $100,000. As you enjoy your stars on and off the plate, remember, tailgates and game day have always been Tyson.
to Media Mash.
Media Mash, back with you here, post-Super Bowl edition. The Eagles dismantled the Chiefs. Chiefs are going for 3 in a row. Not going to happen. This game was never close. Jean-Jacques Taylor, Joe Hoyt got clear until I am Newy Scruggs. So, we have a coaching staff. You two were at the Super Bowl for All City Dallas here. What were you hearing on the ground from people as you started to get more and more of the Cowboy coaching staff getting hired, names we knew about?
I just think that if you're going to be excited about anything, is that, when Emmett talked about they need a plan. They need a plan. I worry about them having a plan. And it seemed like the plan is to run the ball. And the coaching staff is aligned with the focus of trying to run the ball. You go with Clayton Adams. You go with Riley, the offense coordinator, and
from Kansas State.
And an offensive line coach from Kansas State who, built powerful lines. And you just go back to his history. You go to Derek Foster, running back coach from New Orleans, and who was, again, from a college scheme as well. And I like the fact that some of the guys they got all have college background. They're teachers. Mm-hmm. They did not go with the traditional, you got fired here, so I'm going to pick you up here. This whole coaching carousel of long-term NFL assistants who just go from job to job to job because they know somebody. They really went outside the box. To get young, energetic, new idea type coaches, but with all the focus, you look from the alignment of these guys like to run the ball.
Yeah, and I think that was the big takeaway from just the hires so far from the Super Bowl perspective was talking to people was the college influence. And I think that that's been very fascinating from people on the outside is to see them target those guys. Connor Riley, known for developing offensive linemen like Cooper Beebe. Now he's going to come in. You have a guy in Tyler Guyton who needs to develop. Maybe Connor Riley can help him take the next step. You look at wide receivers, Junior Adams from Oregon. I was talking to an Oregon source about him, and he said, hey, man, he's going to get the most out of every single receiver, which, is just kind of words, when you hear from sources, but then you kind of look at the background. He helped Cooper Kupp become what he was at Eastern Washington. You look at some of the coaches he had, or wide receivers had at Washington with Roma Dunze, Jalen McMillan, those kind of guys. And then Oregon, you had Tez Johnson, who's going to be a top 3-round pick this year, plus Troy Franklin, who went to Oregon to the Broncos last year. Long story short, they got a long track record of developing guys and finding talent and making the most of them, and I think that's exciting.
Let me jump in on that a little bit. Mm-hmm. I remember when Nick Sirianni was hired, and there was much made about his coaches, and they were using that as a selling point because Nick was not a popular hire to Philadelphia, and we saw the 2 coordinators off that first Super Bowl team get jobs. Mm-hmm. Steichen's over with the Colts, and then you got Jonathan Gannon over there with Arizona, and Arizona's had some good competitive football teams out there. Then now Kellen Moore becomes a head coach, and Vic Fangio's been a head coach in this league and definitely has the chops to do it again. But I do wonder in terms of, hey, look, let's look at some of these coaches. Jimmy Johnson had brought in some really good coaches when he was here with the Cowboys. So we'll see where it goes. But that's why I say people, the fans so far have seemingly bought into what they're seeing coaching-wise.
I mean, I think you want I don't know what these guys do.
Right.
I can't sit here and say, oh, yeah, while we were destroying Oregon, I was thinking about how good their wide receivers coach was. But I was thinking
that's dirty.
Dirty work. Dirty work.
I mean,
he got a track record beyond Oregon.
Well, I certainly didn't pay attention to him at Eastern Washington. Last week we had from there Jeff Ogden.
You know who developed Eastern Washington?
Who? Cooper Kupp?
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. I said I wasn't paying attention to the red.
Said that already.
To the red field.
You know he developed at Boise State?
No, I don't care about none of them.
Cedric Wilson.
And Puka? Didn't Puka come from?
No. Puka was at Eastern Washington. Or Washington, excuse me.
Okay, well, he did Puka. He developed Puka.
Okay.
I'm just saying, he got some guys in the league.
That's cool.
Roma Dunze, all those guys from not just this year's staff, but last year's. Last year Washington put a lot of guys in receivers in the league. They got a guy coming this year.
Is he an upgrade from Robert Ford?
Yes.
Boy, you said
Robert Prince.
I mean Prince.
Not Ford. Don't do Ford. Don't you do Ford like that.
Ford is the GOAT.
Yes,
don't you do Robert Ford like that.
Yes.
Why you say it so matter of factly? Because Jalen Tobin didn't do nothing?
Who did Prince develop? Tell me what receiver got better with Prince.
Have any outside of outside of Al Harris, has anybody from the staff here been hired?
Yeah, Prince is in Miami.
Prince is Miami, yeah.
Prince is Miami.
He's Miami receivers coach.
Okay, so 2.
And then
McCurley anywhere? Linebacker coach?
Stop it, man.
Zagani?
Jeff Blasco?
No, Blasco's not nowhere.
See,
I feel like Tolzien is that interesting.
That's the bigger issue, man. You want your coaches to always be getting plucked. I mean, it's a pain in the butt, but you won't be like Detroit. Damn, they took our whole staff.
Yeah.
Now we got to replace them. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
No, I mean, you don't know. But, I mean, and that's the thing about it is because you have to sell the staff. Fans, and that's why Jerry always wins, because the fans want to be excited. They want to have hope. They want to feel good about something, okay? They want to feel good. And if you can't feel good about the head coach, I like that staff. I like that offense coordinator. Oh, he can do.
It doesn't take much.
Because it's like selling ice to the Eskimos to a certain extent. These people want to
look at the fan base and be like, who you believe? Me?
You're lying. That's right, of course.
That's what Jerry do every year.
Yes. Yes, they want to feel good about something, and that's why if they do anything in free agency, they're gonna come back.
Yeah, one more note on Clayton Adams, the new OC. I talked to Will Hernandez, who's going to be a free agent over there at the Super Bowl, and he was effusive in his praise for him. And the one thing he talked about, though, was like, hey, we're not just a zone running scheme. We're not just a ground and pound right up the middle. Like, if you look at how they differentiated their running scheme last year, it was very even, and it kept defenses on their toes. And I think pair that with the idea of, hey, you look at that Arizona offensive line, you got first-round picks, you got undrafted guys, you got seventh-round picks, and they all kind of played well together. So it doesn't really matter where you came from with Clayton Adams. He's going to make everyone kind of work together well, and I think that's good news for the Tyler Guyton, Cooper Beebe, and their development.
And that's one thing I always frustrated with the Cowboys. They had an embarrassment of riches in offensive line. All these first-round talents, first-round picks, first-round this. And, they act like no other team played with a bunch of first-round picks, first-round talents, on the offensive line. They got it done with guys second, third-round free agents, Can we find a way to get it done and develop talent here on the offensive line where they don't always have to be first-round picks? I mean, for years, they had, you got a left tackle first round, you had a center first round, you had a right guard first round, you had a right tackle first round, and we couldn't get it done because Connor Williams, the second-round pick, sucked. But you got 4 first-round talents up front, but that Connor Williams was holding you back. I mean, it's always, like it's crazy. All these other teams, no one has 4 first-round picks or first-round. I say first-round talents because La'el Collins was a first-round talent, but because of the circumstances, he had to go a different route.
What circumstance?
His girlfriend died before the draft,
Now you're down to just a one and a possible in terms of first-round picks on your offensive line.
Yeah, Steelers undrafted,
One in the
BB
possible.
was third round.
Right. So let's find a coach that can get some guys in here that can. I mean, what are the Eagles? The Eagles don't have a bunch of first round picks up front.
No, they got Jordan Mailata, who was a late round pick. You got Jurgens.
Lane Johnson.
Lane Johnson was a top pick.
Yeah, but that was 30 years ago. I mean, he's been in the league 100 years.
Okay.
Hey, when you false start, it's easy to kind of get an edge.
Yeah.
All right. When we come back, any thoughts of where to lean with the first round pick after the Super Bowl, where we've seen a performance from having a top running back, we've seen a performance from having a good offensive line, we've seen a performance from having a dominant defensive line. Based on what the world champions have done, where should the Cowboys lean? We've got Clarence Hill, Joe Hoyt, Jean-Jacques Taylor. I'm Newy Scruggs. This is the Media Mash on DallasCowboys.com.
Thinking.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle.
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls. With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Media Mash.
Media Mash, your favorite media personalities giving you their takes. Pro football and the Dallas Cowboys, Jean-Jacques Taylor, Joe Hoyt, and you got the most trusted man, Dallas-Fort Worth, covering the Cowboys. It's Clarence E. Hill Jr., my favorite Longhorn and Omega man. I'm merely Newy Scruggs for the conversation. So, Eagles win the Super Bowl. Kansas City was there for the third year in a row. They could not win it. Eagles with the number one defense.
Mm-hmm.
Eagles with the best offensive weapon in football, in my opinion, this year, Saquon Barkley, the running back spot.
He's a bad man.
Real good.
They also have a very good offensive line, which you could tell the difference in having that kind of offensive line for Philadelphia, what Saquon Barkley was able to do versus the years he was struggling and still putting up great numbers with the Giants. If you are the Dallas Cowboys, you are now in the first round on the clock at number 12. What do you do? Because you not only have to beat the Eagles in your division, you've got to beat Washington, and Washington and Philadelphia both play for NFC Championship.
Yeah, I don't think it's complicated, man. Every time they go draft a need, they get a bunch. They get a buster.
Mm-hmm.
Go draft the best dude sitting there. And it doesn't. You got enough holes. It don't even matter what position he plays. So at that spot, your boy Gentry should be there. Go get him.
It's so hard though because in this draft.
It ain't hard. See, you're that draft guy making it hard.
It's hard. I'm going to make it hard because there's so many good running backs in this draft. Ashton Jeanty is by far the best one, right? But you start looking at tier 2 and tier 3, and there are some guys that can be instant impact guys for the Cowboys at running back specifically. Defensive line, though, I think the Cowboys have they're dire in their situation right now. Oates is a free agent.
Who's the one at 12?
It would have to be Mason Graham, but also...
He ain't dropping that far.
You never know. With quarterbacks and stuff, you never know. But I think... You watch what the Eagles did, and this is where I'm starting to get a little nervous about taking Ashton Jeanty. Well, look what the Eagles did. No blitzes and that much pressure on a guy like that. You're going to have to get after the quarterback, and they did it. And here's the reason, though, I keep kind of coming back to Jeanty to kind of round it all about.
You are all over the place.
Jalen Hung was a second-round pick. Josh Sweat was a fourth-round pick. Like, these guys were not first-round picks. But, man, they need D-line. It's going to be tough. To be honest, it's going to be tough.
The draft is just like running back. The draft is deep in defensive tackle.
It is.
It's deep, and that's a deep position. You don't reach for a defensive tackle if it's not the guy at the top to pick him 12 because of a need. We talk about not forcing needs. You got to take the best player that's on the board.
Because if they want to rush with 4, you do what Kansas City didn't do.
Yeah,
we're finna punish your behind.
Yeah,
as much as we can.
So let me speak a little bit to what Joe said here. Just.
If Mason is there at 12 by some miracle, go get him.
Another Michigan guy. Ooh, you can't take a Michigan guy. Ooh, can't take a Michigan guy.
Just like CD dropped to him, and they're like, oh, what is this?
This was a conversation that was held, and not that I'm saying the Cowboys were wrong, but at the time, they had a top 5 pick, and they took your guy, Ezekiel Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
There were some who said, hey, you should take Jalen Ramsey, go get Derrick Henry in the second round. That was, for a while, this was a debate that had been out there.
Yeah.
And from what you're saying is, hey, here's a great running back here in Jeanty, the best guy, which was what Elliott was. But then the other portion, do you go maybe wait a little later, the Derrick Henry type of guy, and then you take a impact because they needed a corner at the time. You know, they certainly could have used a Jalen Ramsey who's turned into a his name should be talked about for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He'd be I don't know if he's getting in, but he should be on the ballot. So that to me is that kind of thing could be there for them.
I agree, but I don't think the scenario is the same. You know, there was no question Jalen Ramsey was one of the best players in the draft. And no matter when you draft, Jalen Ramsey was going to be up there. This draft is not like that. I don't think that there's a corner or position that, say this guy is on the same level of a Jalen Ramsey.
Okay, I'll say that.
But you could say that the other, and I don't know if the running backs, the deeper the running backs go, that there is a King Henry in the second round. I mean, they're good running backs. They're good backs. Ain't none of them dudes King Henry.
And
none of them dudes King Henry in college.
King Henry was King Henry. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been taken at 38.
Also, there's still a lot of draft stuff to happen. We still haven't had the combine. We still haven't had the pro day. Like, for example, I think a guy, Walter Nolan from Ole Miss, like, it's kind of a trendy thing. I think he's going to rise to a point where we are discussing him as a top 12 pick after all this is said and done. And I think that that's going to be interesting. Will Johnson, a guy from another Michigan guy, a corner, maybe he falls to you.
Now, see, I saw him mocked to the Cowboys by somebody the other day.
Yeah.
I'll just throw out one just for, and we talked a little bit about this on last week, the Penn State tight end Warren. There's a talented guy.
Yeah.
And if you look at your tight end position last year, this would not be something to say, well, we're covered. You're not covered right now. And Jake Ferguson is on the verge of, he's going to be a free agent too.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest Warren fan personally. We had a nice debate about this today on our show.
What's the short version of why you're not a Warren fan?
I just don't think that he's the type of guy for a tight end perspective. You should take in the top.
Why?
Because I think that he's too stiff. I don't think he's too much of a playmaker. I think Brock Bowers is the type of guy you take in top 10, top 15, because that guy's a difference maker. He is a wide receiver, essentially. I think Tyler Warren is not worth it at 12, in my opinion.
How big is he?
How big is Tyler Warren?
245 or
he's
255?
Huge. Yeah,
now,
it's 255.
When I watched Penn State play, the quarterback was limited.
Very limited.
The offense was limited, but they were going to him. And here's a team that ended up being one of the top 4 teams in the country.
Yeah.
So Brock Bowers, is he Brock Bowers? Nah. But you know what? Eric Clapton ain't Jimi Hendrix, but Eric Clapton pretty damn good, isn't he?
But his comp is Gronk.
Oh boy, I'd hate to have him.
But that's a comp.
Well, I mean, I just
you know how many people get comped to other guys?
No, I don't know how many people get comped to Gronk.
No, they ain't.
Not many getting comped to Gronk.
Now, Sonny Dykes will tell you that because he had him in Arizona. But I just throw that out there in the sense of, if we're saying what you say, stop going and for need, go get the best guy.
Go get the best guy.
If he's the best guy, it's not like they don't have. It's not like Dak Prescott would not be benefited from.
But let's
no
be
doubt.
realistic. They gonna play too tight, 12 personnel next year?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you
they trying to run the ball.
I just asked if they were.
I'm just saying, if you're running, this ain't.
If they want to do that, then fine.
If you took tight end first round, you went running back second round, or you went D-line second round, and RB in the third and the fourth. Well,
yeah, no fourth.
trade for some way to get in for the Mingo thing.
Oh boy.
No, I mean,
remember Bucky Irving last
I just
year?
want good players, bro. If you got good players, and when they just go follow the board and don't try to fill, they do terrific.
That's how you get CeeDee Lamb. Yeah.
And all these other guys that they got. That's how you get Tyler Smith.
Tyler Smith was a need.
It's only when they start forcing things.
But Tyler was a need because they were heavily criticized.
Yeah, because they didn't want
Yeah, but he was a need, but he was also a future pick to play the future left tackle. And because he was going to play left. They drafted to play left tackle.
Yes.
They drafted to play left tackle. And because because of the future with Tyron Smith. But he became a guard, though. So that's one thing you talk about, maybe drafting a guy from Texas who's a left tackle who could be a guard, who could fill in at right guard as well.
I think that would give you a lot of security about your Tyler Guyton pick. And we've talked about this, too. Your pick shouldn't be – you shouldn't be afraid to say, we swung and missed on that one, kind of the Bryce Huff thing, and say we can't go back to that water. But I do think you still need to find out what you have in Tyler Guyton. And Kelvin Banks allows you the security to say, hey, if Tyler Guyton's legit, then we put Kelvin Banks at guard. There's your Zach Martin replacement. We're good for a long time on the offensive line. And if Tyler Guyton can't play, then you say, you know what? We swung, missed. Kelvin, go take that one, and you're good to go, in theory.
Didn't he just say we didn't need no more first-round offensive linemen around here?
We got a developer in Clayton Adams.
See, it's a need issue. We're not talking about need. We're talking about who's on the board and who you should take. You're taking the best player on the board. If he's the best player on the board, then you do it. That's my question. When we talk about compared to the Eagles went back-to-back Georgia defensive tackles.
Oh, yeah.
Because they fell to them. You talk about what they did. They didn't reach. They didn't say, we got to go get the –
Right. They took 2 corners back-to-back in last year's draft.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about first-round picks in back-to-back years. Mm-hmm. They took first-round defensive tackles from
Didn't
Georgia.
They trade up for Davis?
Well, he fell.
No,
that was the first year, and then they took Carter because he was there. Yeah, they took Carter.
And Nolan Smith fell in their lap too.
Yeah, Nolan Smith fell in the lap. But they just went and got the guys. So I don't know if the Cowboys went tackle when Mozzie Smith went tackle. Jerry likes to be sexy, and he hasn't been this high in the draft. Do you think he's going to take the foundational thing and take a defensive lineman, offensive lineman, even though that may be best foundational, overtaking a
Zach Martin versus Johnny Manziel?
But that was still 18, and again, you had a quarterback, they have needs there. The receiver from Arizona could be there. Ted McMillan,
yeah.
Play.
Pair him with CD too. It's a perfect.
Yeah,
he could play.
Yes, and that will get the fan base excited. When the fan base get excited about a defensive tackle, and again, you say that he likes to sell hope. He likes to sell hopium. You can get people excited about Ashton Genty. You can get people excited about a Ted McMillan.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can you get people excited about a Mason Graham? Can you get people excited about a Kelvin Banks?
Get them excited about Super Bowl because you see Big Davis over there.
He don't think like that.
Yeah, but people can't reach out and touch Super Bowl in April.
They can
reach out and touch. They can reach out and touch highlights from Genty running down the field. They can reach out and touch Ted McMillan making his one-handed catches.
Over Travis Hunt.
That can get you excited.
No, look, you're
that's what I'm talking about.
And you're talking about a fan base right now that needs something to be feel good. So in a jersey to go
going into the going into
buy
training camp. Yeah, you can put them highlights on the reel and talk about the possibilities.
Especially
and one thing that Genty told us, we talked to Genty at the Super Bowl. He said, "People tell me, I don't know, I ain't gonna say who I am. People tell me I'm more explosive than Emmitt Smith."
The fact that he couched it by saying what people tell me, by the way, and then saying that, I was like, touche.
I'm a more explosive Emmitt Smith.
You know what Paxton Lynch told me at the Super Bowl?
What?
I said, what's your game? Compare it. Cam Newton.
Yeah.
I said, so you Ivory Cam. So just saying, you go to the Super Bowl, we do these interviews.
No doubt.
Some of them start to say a little any old thing.
Ivory Cam.
Ivory Cam.
Ivory Cam.
My game was like, coming out of Memphis, his game was like Cam Newton. So Genty saying his game was like Emmitt. Oh,
it's more
got it.
explosive Emmitt.
I interviewed Patrick
More explosive
Mahomes. Okay. I interviewed Patrick Mahomes. He didn't give me nothing. Turned out he was all right.
Yeah.
He
just not Brady.
Whoa.
Who is? Who is? All right. Before we leave, any thing on the cutting room floor we left here? Let's start around the table. Go with you, Clem.
No, man. Like we had a good week in the Super Bowl. We talked to a lot of people. There's still some angst for former Cowboys. We talked to Traegman yesterday at the Children's Fund thing. He talked about, still can't believe 30 years, getting ready to celebrate the 30th anniversary of that last Super Bowl title team in 1995. And he's like the fans, they're shocked that the Cowboys have not even been close since then. And he talked about Emmitt. There's so much talk about the Luka trade and Woody and Darryl Johnson say, y'all remember when Jimmy Johnson got run up out of here? You think about how that would be played today in today's media, and Jerry, Jimmy, firing Jimmy or getting rid of Jimmy after 2 Super Bowl titles. What would the fan base be like?
It'd be crazy.
Almost as bad as when he fired Tom Landry.
Yeah, but I'm talking about after Super Bowls. They'd probably be worse because they already didn't like him.
Yeah, like I said, you go back to what he went through for firing Tom Landry.
They fired Landry and then went 1-15.
And when he hired his buddies. So life wasn't good. Wasn't
good.
I don't know. I mean, yes, social media would have been worse, but I don't know if I've ever seen anybody off the top of my head in the sports world get rolled like he did. I mean, you had Dan Reeves trying to run up the score on him because they were mad at him the first game. They would go unbeaten in the preseason and they get beat 28-0 the first game ever, the Super Bowl into Jimmy. I mean, there were folks who wanted blood, man. And then Tom made that commercial where he messed up with him when he came out the little suitcase for that hotel chain.
Because Tom wouldn't talk to him.
Yeah, so
I'm not going to let you honor me. You don't get off like that.
Right, you don't get to honor me in the Ring of Honor. So yeah. Joe, what you got?
Yeah, not a sexy thing, but Ken Dorsey was one of the guys that might have been considered for OC. I never really bought that, and now they brought him back as a passing game specialist. I think that's a good hire because.
Why?
because I think that in terms of passing game, they address a lot of running game stuff. They did a lot of things on the run. Ken Dorsey, yes, he's been fired last year as an OC.
He fired the year before.
As an OC.
OC ain't in charge of passing game in today's NFL?
No, but he's going to be a passing game. So I like the idea of getting people in who might know one or two things. That
Kellen Moore got fired twice.
I just watched Ohio State beat Miami this morning. He didn't do nothing as Miami quarterback.
Wow.
See, there it always comes
They
back.
got cheated.
It always comes back there.
Got cheated in that game. They won that game.
Record books say we
won that game.
I like the hire as a passing game guy.
What do you have?
I got the national championship. That's all I got.
You need a new offensive coordinator.
Defense
Matt Patricia, shout out.
Oh, Matt, yeah, that's,
Hey, man.
that's not a good hire.
We do this every 10 years, so I'm good.
That's literally.
Oh, excellent. All right, gentlemen, thank you. We'll proceed next week. Let us know who the lineup is, baby. I appreciate you. I'm Newy Scruggs. This is the Media Mash. Thanks to Chris, everybody who makes it happen at DallasCowboys.com. We are done.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!